Welcome back again. I'm Krisa Cruz, CEO of the Graham Chamber of Commerce and CVB, and we have a series of chamber chats today, really special chamber chats. We are introducing you to our mayoral candidates running in the election this year. So I am very excited to introduce Mr. Lyon, and he's here with us today and running in this election. So, Mr. Lyon, I just want to start off and ask, tell me a little bit about kind of your motivation for running.
The main reason I decided to run was I moved to Graham because I was just basically enchanted with it. I came out here to see a friend and I grew up in a small town, Lancaster. Back when I was a child, it was a small town. It's not anymore. But it was very reminiscent of that. And so I decided to move here, and I got involved with some local people because I've been in and out of politics, off and on most of my life. And one of the problems that I started hearing from a lot of people was they felt that the city council was not in touch with them or stayed distant from them, and they didn't feel that they were really getting anything done. And so I started asking, well, why is that? Why do you feel this way? And one of the first things that came up was, well, the city council meetings are during the day, so most of us can't even attend, which I thought was kind of odd that, they've got them in a time where the average working person can't take off work to come in to a city council meeting. That's one of the things that I would like to change. I'd also like to make sure that the agenda prior to the city council meeting is, out there publicly like the Friday beforehand. That way people can see it and decide, okay, this is something I want to go talk about, or I have questions about, or, things such as that. Mm-hmm. That way they can actually be involved. Because right now, like I said, a lot of people, they feel that they cannot be involved with the city council or the decisions that are made because they can't attend it, and there's not really any time for them to go and question things or, try to get a resolution to things. And so that's kind of what got me into it, because back in Ellis County where I came from, I was involved in this, and we made sure that, all of these things were taken care of, that the city council, that the county and all of this, were very transparent. They were willing to listen. They were willing to take the time, to get things done. And it made a big difference with how people felt about their government, their local government. So,
absolutely.
That's why I decided to get into it.
So, yeah, I agree. I think community engagement, hugely important. So tell me a little bit about your experience that has equipped you to, or you feel has equipped you to be a good candidate for this position.
Well, like I said, I worked in and out of politics for many, many years, mainly just, volunteering, helping out. I have been a precinct chairman. I was elected for that in Ellis County. That really got me involved to see how things worked, the way that it had been prior to that, and all the directions they were trying to get to, and then the process involved in getting there. As far as for being a mayor, I understand the position of it because I've worked with several of them, and I can manage a multi-million-dollar construction job. So I can understand everything that needs to be done, how you have to separate everything out when you're dealing, whether it's money issues, political issues, and everything has its place. Mm-hmm. But the people want to be involved in all of those decisions and want to know why. So, that's where all that came from, just watching how the process worked. And, the more you get into it, I think a lot of people find that at first they don't want to be into it, but they start hanging out or dealing with, certain aspects of local politics, and then they just, find themselves more and more involved once they realize how it works. Mm-hmm. And I really wish more people would be involved so they did understand, because I know a lot of times and whether it's the city or the county, a lot of people can get upset because certain things have happened, but that's because they're not aware of why they happened.
Right.
And if you're involved in it and you take an active role, you now understand why certain things went the way they did or why certain things didn't go, things of that nature. And I'd like to be that person that makes sure that we bring people in. I'd like to have town hall meetings, which is just bring the people in, the mayor standing there, and you're just, having a conversation back and forth and actually addressing everything. Mm-hmm. But this is something that you only need to do probably every 2 months. I don't see a reason to do it every month.
Right.
But I think it'd be a good way to make sure that people are aware, people, get their voices heard, which is a lot of people, they don't think that their voice is heard. Mm-hmm. So.
Awesome. Okay, what about, how would you describe the quality of life here in Graham?
Oh, I had to move here after a week. I'm not kidding. I came out here, visited someone, and this was about 6 years ago, and I fell in love with, I guess, just the way things are here. They're slower. Most people will say hi. Someone is broken down on the side of the road, somebody stops and helps them, and that's a lot of what's missing, like in the big city where I come from. I'm from the DFW area, and it's not like that there.
Right.
So here, it's a lot more friendly. There's a lot more interaction, from people and neighbors and, things like that. And I think that's one of the better things that unfortunately is missing from most bigger places. And I don't want to lose that. I want to make sure that continues.
I think I love that protection of the quality of life that we have here. I've had a business owner tell me before that she loves it when she goes to a business and they have a note posted on the door that says, had to close early, grandbaby coming today, or something along those lines, because that just reminds us all that, there is a quality of life here we can appreciate. Okay, what about, what do you think our greatest challenges? You might have already kind of referenced this, but what are some of the greatest challenges that we're facing right now as a community?
Well, if we skip all the COVID stuff, because that causes a lot of problems on its own. Like I said, community interaction with local government, jobs. We need some better paying jobs. And, thankfully with some of the stuff that's gone on, there's a lot of like manufacturing jobs that are coming back to the U.S. I think, Graham would be a great place to have them. And, we have to kind of wait, though, until we find out who our congressmen are going to be, both in state and federal, get in touch with them and see what they can do, because that's one of the things that I did learn was they're really good at finding, companies that want to relocate or want to expand or things like that and get them to come here. I think we're also missing entertainment. There's not a whole lot of entertainment. We have a lot of kids in the town that don't really have much to do, and we can complain that they're always on their computer or they're always playing their games or whatever, but we don't really have anything for them to go do. And I've heard that a couple of people told me that we were supposed to be getting like a skate park or a dog park or something like that, and then it didn't come through or something like that. I'd like to see those things come, because especially if you could do it all as one. You have the skate park, you have the dog park, you have a place where people can go and hang out, because that's what it used to be like when I was young. It was every Saturday, everybody is at the park, and that's where people met up. They did things outside of sitting in front of a keyboard.
That sunshine is so important. What about youth sports? What do you think the municipal role is to support, or I guess be involved with, youth sports?
I think sports are a very important thing, especially for kids, because number one, there's the physical aspect of it. And with all the stuff that we've got going on, the COVID and everything else, being, in good shape is a good thing. There's also a lot that is learned from it, not just the physical aspect, but the teamwork that comes with it. I think it's very important. I think it's necessary for, if you don't learn it through a sport, you go out one day, you get a job, whether it's McDonald's, wherever it is, you don't understand teamwork. You haven't learned it that way. Because when you're just in class, it's not a team effort. But the sports, they help to bring that up. It also gets, people recognition for good things that they've done and good things that they've accomplished. I think we need more involvement. I think, the community needs to be more involved. I think we need, I don't know if y'all have it here, but like JCs, which has nothing to do with the schools, but it's, they offer soccer and football and, softball, stuff like that, just to have people involved and to do things. And the more that we can get to that, the more community involvement we have. So, it all the way around, I think sports is a good thing.
What about if you, if the city of Graham won a $1 million grant with no strings attached, no parameters or specifications on how it must be used, what would the best usage of those funds be?
I honestly can't answer that. And the reason is I'm not aware of all of the major issues. I know that we do have like when we have rain, we sometimes have some flooding issues, and the Army Corps of Engineers would be really good to get involved with that, see if we can fix that problem. There's an ongoing issue with getting the streets fixed. There's other issues like that, but unless I was there and actually, had heard from the community and heard from the city, these are the things that, we really need to work on, I can't make that decision.
But it sounds like most of what you're mentioning is infrastructure related.
Right.
So probably something, are you saying, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, trying to understand, but probably something, you would evaluate the needs regarding infrastructure and probably
right.
put it into something like that.
We can want certain things and we can need certain things, but the need is always going to be more important, because once you can get that taken care of, then you can go on to the want. I would love to have a community center, and $1 million grant would be great to do that, but at what cost? Because if we have the opportunity to fix other things that are important, then I think we need to take care of that and then deal with, a community center or something like that later on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
those
deal
foundational.
with the things that are the most important.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you consider to be your greatest achievement in life so far?
Surviving. And I say that because I've lived and worked in every state. I've traveled the world. I've been a private military contractor. I've seen some of the greatest things in life. I've seen some of the worst things in life. And I made it through a lot of really bad things. So just the fact of not letting all of the things that happened to me, like when I was 3 days old, I was baptized, circumcised, left to the babysitter, and never saw my mother again. When I was 14, my father died, and I was basically kicked out of the house. And I've been on my own ever since. And I've survived all of this without becoming harsh to the world. I don't feel anger towards the world for what happened to me. It's just, okay, this happened, now I'm going to go on to the next thing. Which I wish a lot of people could do, but a lot of people the damage that is done kind of hangs on, mm-hmm. and it causes issues later on. And I think just the fact of people being able to, stick out their hand and say, look, I'll help you, is a huge thing. And I do that. I volunteer when I can. I used to volunteer at the Young County Humane Society, but I'd wind up adopting too many dogs.
So hard.
Well, I went to foster one, and 2 weeks later I just adopted him. It's just
what are you going to
do?
Yeah, puppies are adorable. That's true.
Well, no, mine, the dog I got was not a puppy. He was actually an older dog, probably 3 or 4, but he was abandoned. Somebody moved out and just left him in the backyard.
It's heartbreaking. Oh my goodness. Well, what about you mentioned some previous experience, maybe I think you said Ellis County?
Yeah.
Tell me about that a little bit more. Like what local government do you have experience with previously?
I've worked with the Red Oak City Council, which is a town just, mm-hmm. It's the first town headed into Ellis County out of Dallas County, because I was living there while I was, doing work in Waxahachie. I got involved with the Republican Party of Ellis County, even though I know that's not a part of running for mayor, but I got involved with them just because somebody brought it up to me. And I didn't really understand. I wasn't aware of what all went on trying to get things done. Well, that got me involved in dealing with, the county and the commissioner's court, and then, the city council of Waxahachie, and dealing with all of that, and seeing just what it takes in order to get stuff done, in order to make sure that, the things that the people are after actually can come in and be taken care of, even though there are certain reasons why it's not always going to happen. You can have an issue with, I don't care if it's a road or, lighting in the city, which there seemed to be a problem because they kept expanding, but the lights weren't going up. But they're not always going to work that way. And I'm glad that I had the experience working, with all of the people that I worked with down there, and actually was brought in. And, made part of the things and made part of the discussions, and, could actually be involved with it. Because then it gave me a better understanding of what actually was going on around me.
Sure, yeah. I think there's so many situations like that where there's perception and then reality, but you have to really dive in to really understand the reality of what's going on.
Because government, whether it's
complex,
your city or your county, a lot of people can get really upset, and I've heard a lot of it, and I have to stop and explain to them, it's probably not what you think.
Right.
It's probably not that they don't care about that road. Whose road is it? Is it the city's road? Is it the county's road? Is it,
road,
state? Like we have 16. Graham doesn't fix that. The state, that's their road.
Right.
So there's always something that you need to understand.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to say, no matter what, thank you for running. Thank you for being willing to serve. But that being a mayor in Graham is something that people do because they want to serve the community, because they want to give back or they want to be involved, but it's usually out of the goodness and kindness of their hearts. So we want to say thank you for being willing to run in the election. And no matter what, I want to say it again, to everyone out there listening, watching, please exercise your right to vote. Please vote. Yes. It's so important, more important than anything else we've said today. Exercise your right to vote. Thank you so much.